Shalom. First of all, I start by going over an honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of great millstone, likewise brothers for know the truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep into brothers and sisters. Tuning in, Shalom. Today's lesson is titled, Woe to the Inhabitants of the Earth. Let's start off with our first scripture here. This is the book of Revelation 12 and 12, and it reads, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Now, the escalation that we see right now is evidence of wickedness, that has a limited time, and the scriptures says it. The intensity is increasing because time is short for this devil. And who's the devil? The so-called white man, Esau. So this is the reason why you're seeing economic pressure, sanctions, war, and threats of war, military buildup, political instability, financial hardship, and the pressures, taking its toll on ordinary people. The people are living and experiencing what it's like to be under wicked rulership. Now I'm going to show you this short clip here, and this should give you an idea of where basically the direction we're going into. Take a look at it.
I'm Christine Frizzau in Washington. Tonight, President Trump says he's stepping up, quote, economic warfare against Iran and any country that helps Iran stay afloat.
Well, we have things that we could sanction. We have very draconian sanctions, and we'll see what happens. Right now, the strait is open.
But the Strait of Hormuz has largely been closed for months. A defiant Iran threatening shipping traffic and asking for war reparations. Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi sharing this New York Times article about U.S. debt hitting $40 trillion, posting online, the so-called economic D-Day is a diversion from America's own crisis, unprecedented debt, and surging interest costs. Iran has already endured nearly 50 years of sanctions and in recent years has become part of what the U.S. government refers to as the axis of autocracy with China, Russia, and North Korea, with questions about whether sanctions violations will be punished since they rarely have in the past.
We basically say, do not engage or we will, fill in the blanks. Impose tariffs, introduce new weapons into the theater for Ukraine, support Taiwan in ways that we haven't before. In other words, things that matter to Russia and China.
And while experts say Iran's military and economy have been battered, the Financial Times reports Iranian leaders are threatening attacks on U.S. military targets in Europe. The Foundation for Defensive Democracies illustrating Iran's capabilities do pose a threat. Some critics here in Washington assert President Trump's economic strategy may be out of necessity because, at least according to several reports, America's weapons stockpile is dwindling. So further military escalation may simply not be an option.
Now you saw in that clip, what did this man Donald J. Trump say? He's basically threatening all sovereign nations that if they help Iran in any kind of way, provide any kind of assistance to Iran in any kind of way, they're going to have extreme sanctions put on them. Their economies will be destroyed. So how could anyone sit down and doubt that the devil, when we go into Revelation 12 and 12, speaking about woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, the devil, who is this devil? It certainly isn't a guy in red spandex suit with a horn on his head from the ethereal realm or the underground realm. No, it's speaking about the people that are in rulership and authority. And see, a lot of you people just don't want to admit it because, y'all want to attribute everything good to the so-called white man and excuse all of his wickedness. But you can do that. But who's catching hell here in Great Babylon, America? A lot of you Edomites, you so-called white people, are catching hell. The proof is on Instagram and YouTube. Jake has always been catching hell here, so that's nothing new. So at some point in time, you have to admit that you are from the tribe of the wicked, the Edomites, the children of the devil, which is a so-called white man who are in rulership. And you're not benefiting from being so-called white people anymore, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms 12 and verse 8. And it reads, The wicked walk on every side, where the vilest men are exalted. And that word vile, think about that for a second here. Vile, what is vile? It's often described as something like putrid, like poop and pee and, left sitting in the sun for like days on end or, that's vile. It's putrid. And this is a so-called white man. He's vile. Okay, the book of Job speaks about that. The viler than the earth. Okay, they're base men. So here you see the vile man, the so-called white man, is exalted. You know, they have an outreach across this earth. You know, they have authority over armies, banking systems, government, and nations. Okay, so they can do whatever they feel like doing. Okay, they have this. They can make decisions that can afflict millions of people, create economic policy that can damage other nations. That's what do you think sanctions are about? You get a military force that can, ignite wars and bully other nations into submission. I mean, you think about it. These are the rulers of the earth. And this man is coming on saying, basically, if any nation step up to help this one nation that they're bullying, that they call the axis of evil, that they themselves are going to be facing serious economic consequences. Great Babylon America has its day coming, and it deserves every bit of it. Let's go into the book of Psalms 37 and start verse 35. It reads, I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. And this is a good thing. Keep in mind the scriptures where the Most High say, except those days be shortened, no flesh will be saved. Except for the sake of the elect, he shortened the days. We're not exaggerating when we tell you there's great death coming. You people can't even begin to imagine. Keep your head in fantasy land. Okay? But you're looking at your screen many days and you're seeing people crying and sobbing in cars, and they went from living inside a house or apartment, living in a car that they're still paying for, and they can't make ends meet, even to pay for that car. That's you next. Okay? They were looking at the screen too and going, how could someone be in that position? Especially when there's a Jake sitting on the sidewalk on a cardboard box, begging for mercy. Can you please give me something? And these are the same people that Sean point a finger and go, why don't you just lace up your bootstrap and just do the work, you lazy people? Now they themselves are out there, and they're going to be seeking mercy and not going to get it. Why? Because you have the wicked in rulership, okay? What does great power means? They have control over economies, governments, international institutions, military alliances, corporations, media, technology, global commerce, okay? Of course, this is symbolic, but it's speaking about the fact that they have an outreach. What nation on this earth has embassies in every nation on this earth? Yeah. Great Babylon America. The US dollar is the only currency that can be used anywhere on this earth. That's the reason why they can do these embargoes and destroy nations and stuff like that. And they make sure they have their military force all across this earth. So any nation that stands up to them, they assassinate the king of that nation. And we've seen it with Saddam, we've seen it with Gaddafi, and the list goes on and on and on. They even do it to oppositions here in the United States. Think about John F. Kennedy. Huh? Yeah. Let's go to the book of Proverbs 29 and 2. It reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Yeah, we're all mourning. You don't have to be starving or unemployed to be mourning. Just a sheer existing here in Great Babylon, America. It's just enough to just throw people into a frenzy, man. And this is the reason why Revelation 12 and 12, okay, open up a therefore rejoice ye heavens. Who's the heavens? It's speaking about the prophets. It's speaking about the believers. Those who truly are compelled to believe. We're going to get out of this place, man. This place is no good. All right? But everybody else that wants to continue on in this place, well, this is going to be a mental game. And the Lord knows how to play the mental game really good. Okay? Let's go into our next scripture. This is the book of Psalms 92. Start verse 6. It reads, a brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord Yahweh Shai, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord Yahweh Shai, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. So if you're a fool, you're brutish, and you just believe in Christianity and all that horse crap, and we're all going to come together one day and, be one happy family, it's not going to work. If you're a Jake, so-called black, Native Americans, Latinos, okay, or Hispanic, especially a so-called Negro, come on, you haven't marched enough? Aren't your feet tired? Aren't you tired of making banners talking about No peace, no justice, and we shall overcome. Overcome what? You're not going to overcome anything. You're not going to overcome a damn thing. Only the elect is going to overcome. Because of what? The shedding of the blood of the Mashiach, who the word ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Nobody's going to overcome a damn thing. You're never going to overcome. You really think this man cares about you? Does he care about his own people? Look what he's doing, man. He's threatening other kings. Picture yourself as a man. You pay for your house. You own your house, a title of your house and everything like that. In fact, we're living in it right now. You can't do what you want with your house. If I want to add an addition onto this house, I have to go and get a permit and all this other stuff, that even though I paid for this house. You see how that works? So imagine a king being dictated to by another king. All this man can do is just constantly threaten and point a gun at you. You can't make any type of decision. And that's how it is. Because why? You have the doers of iniquity, the wicked people, the so-called white man, okay? But he's going to be destroyed. And right here it says that the Lord, Yahushua, is going to be reigning what? Forever. So when we watch him and hear him talk, it's laughable, but it's lesson worthy, because we also like to make sure the believers are informed, even though you have the people out there that might hear us and they want to mock and scoff or say, yeah, y'all are full of crap. And that's okay. When you're starving on the street, when you're being thrown in those internment camps, you'll know prophet was among you, and we can share a damn bit of tears for you. If possible, we will make another lesson on your demise. Let's go over the book of Isaiah 14, verse 13 reads. And this is speaking about who? None other than the white man. Come on. Look at this man. They're boasting, man. Whenever you ever see someone boast like this, it reads, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the star of power. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. In your dreams, Esau, in your dreams. Here it is, these people can't even stand in the sun for 10, 15 minutes in the summer. How in the hell do you think you can exalt yourself above the throne of the power? So funny. What a comedian. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee. Now, this is speaking about, because remember, I just went into the book of Psalms 92. Okay, and we can go back to what verse 7 reads, when the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they should be destroyed forever. So you're only coming up and having this power and doing all of these things just to be destroyed. And it says right here, because the first thing is you're going to go into captivity, hardcore, brutal captivity. And while you're in captivity with these other nations, they're going to be looking at you because you're going to be in such a pitiful state, you so-called white people. Particularly, we're talking to the men. We're not talking about you women, because most of y'all are just going to be concubines for the jakes in the kingdom if you look good. We're talking with the men, okay? These other tribes are going to be, y'all going to catch hell in the kingdom. And that's another lesson to go into. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee. They can look and go, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? Is this the one that was sending the fleets all over across the earth, bombing places, killing kings, doing whatever he pleased, that did shake kingdoms, terrorizing this entire earth, man, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? And who's the prisoners? Us, the Hebrew Israelite. We are still held here in captivity. I'm a prisoner. I don't feel like no free man. I'm a prisoner. And so the other brothers and every Hebrew Israelite, whether you believe or not, you're a prisoner. This man has not let us go. We from Africa, send us back to Africa. Why haven't they done it? Why haven't they done it? Deuteronomy 28 explains why we were brought here. And other scriptures tells you exactly how we're going to get the hell out of here. But in the kingdom, they're going to be looking and going, damn, because y'all going to be in such a pitiful state, weak, shriveled, working your ass to death. And people are going to remember this. People are still going to remember what you have done. People are going to remember all this boldness from the so-called white man. And in the kingdom, you're going to be nothing, just a slave of degraded, low-level shit. And these other tribes, they're going to be beating your ass on top of us stomping your ass every day. These other tribes, they could be handling you horribly in the kingdom. You Edomites, you so-called white people. And I'm speaking only to the men. So this has been woe to the inhabitants of the earth. Lord, when the elect was edified, I close my going on to Yahweh, Bashim, Shai, Bashim, Rakadash. Shalom.